Hi guys, so a few teachers and others have asked me to put together a video. I'm just going to start off very basic. I hope everyone's well and healthy and not too bored. Um, so to start with, there's sort of be a theme to the videos and they will get a bit longer. We'll start with the basics. Essentially, what we want to do is repeat stuff over and over again in the right way, in the correct way, and then when it comes to playing or whatever else, messing around, stick and balling, we've got the right memory. What we're trying to do for those keen psychologists out there, Justin, is make our declarative memory non-declarative, so procedural memory is what it's called, or some people call it unconscious memory or muscle memory. The more of that we have that's correct, we can think about other things and our body will naturally play and it will all come. There's just not enough time to think about everything consciously when we're playing polo, so obviously we need some of it to be, well, most of it to be natural, and that comes from repetition. Secondly, we want to be balanced when we do everything. That includes the horse being balanced, us being balanced, and it can mean other things as well, sounding very philosophical. Balanced, balance, repetition, and there were some other things, but I've forgotten them. They'll be the two themes for now. Balance, repetition, energy. We don't want to waste any energy, or the horse's energy, our energy. We want our energy to be as efficient as possible when we make swings and do whatnot, but I'll get into that, and then sort of give ourselves as much time and space as possible. So we give ourselves more, it all interrelates, we give ourselves more. I'm waffling. I'm going to start with the grip. So this is our polo stick, as we know, and if you imagine this is the side of the stick and this is the top of the stick. This has been borrowed from a very fantastic online video that someone else has done, but all great artists borrow, as Picasso said. I actually think he said all great artists steal. Never mind, I'm not calling myself a great artist. So this is the side of the stick, this is the top of the stick. Where they meet, they have a ridge. Okay, anyone that's had a lesson with us before has gone over that we have 3 fingers around the stick and then our thumb. Something a bit more intricate that we might not have gone over, but I will have mentioned it, is what this knuckle here does. If you look, this part of my hand is squishy, and that makes inconsistencies with my shot, and also means that the energy I put into the shot, some of it's going to be dispersed there rather than into the ball, and we want as much of it to go into the ball as possible. So going back to these, the side and the top of the stick, where they meet is the ridge. We want this left knuckle to be slightly left of that ridge. If you look now, the difference between that, the squidgy bit, and that, we've now got a solid bit for us to put as much energy into the ball as possible. We want a nice consistent grip at this point. We want as much consistency as possible at this point to give ourselves that consistent platform that we can then adapt to as we become better players. You know, you will add in your muscle, hand, eye and other things, will add in extra bits of the shot, but for now, let's get our nice solid platform that we can then build from on every aspect. So 3 fingers and the thumb, we've got our index finger wrapped round. This knuckle to the left of that ridge, there, just a little bit. One fantastic coach calls it a quarter knuckle that comes around here. So 3 fingers and a thumb, this index finger like it's on a trigger, here, and that knuckle to the left of that ridge. Let's do things as properly as possible. Keep that strap wrapped round. 3 fingers, thumb, there. Okay? Now what I want you to practice at home, and I've lost my ball, it's blown off in the wind. Wait 1 second. Is repetition, as we know. I want to try and get that straight plane, and we're going to start with a textbook swing. We are going to add other elements or change it and realise that we have to adapt it at different points in the game, but for now, if we just start with this nice, it's kind of a penalty swing, and then we can add little bits in as time goes on. If we can start with this nice solid platform and some good ideas, then we can add in different bits. So we've got our nice grip. we check that, and you can hold this stick around the house, take it anywhere, you know, and just walk around and just check your grips right. You know, go and do whatever you do, making sure, I'm not sure if I mentioned it because I've done this video once and it didn't record, so not sure what I mentioned already or haven't. Our hand, imagine it's shaking someone's hand there. It doesn't, that's how the hand sits on the wrist. We don't want that to change very much at all. The wrist makes the shot terribly inconsistent. So for now, just keep that in that position and keep checking. Walk around the house, do this, do that, have a hit of a ball, check your grip again. Go and have a knock around in the garden if you've got space. Check your grip again. Check your grip, check your wrist position. Okay, that's good advice. So, you're in front of the mirror. Repetition, repetition. You're in front of the mirror, you look at the mirror. Don't smash the mirror, it's terrible bad luck. We've checked our grip, that's all fine. Imagine the ball's in front of you and the ball's coming towards you. What I'd like you to do is turn your shoulders where the ball is going to go, and notice the left one comes slightly lower. Turn your shoulders and then extend the stick. Extend your hand. Look up at the mirror and check you're in a straight plane. I was kind of straight there, I could do a little bit better. Okay, and do that sort of 20 times. So, shoulders, extension, and look up in the mirror and check you're in a straight line. Okay, so we can do it again. Shoulders, extension, great. Keep doing that, keep doing that. Then, we will add the ball in. So, where's my... Oh, I think it's under there. It's my isolating buddy. Okay, so we're going to extend, shoulders, extension. Now from this position we are going to come down and hit the ball. One thing to remember is this, we don't want to be too controlled. Just let the stick go and swing through it. Also important to remember, and again this is in a fantastic Gavin Chapman video, I'm not sure if I'm breaking copyright laws, but credit where credit's due. The stick head, we don't want to twist like that until it gets much lower to the ground. There. Otherwise, our arm naturally wants to twist round, and we'll have to adjust with our wrist. Remember, we don't want our wrist to move if we can help it. We want to be as consistent as possible at this point to give ourselves a nice, solid, balanced platform. So, shoulders, extension. Now, let the stick fall, and we're going to add energy. The most important bit is actually to hit through the ball, to put that energy through the ball. If anyone's ever done any karate or watched Karate Kid, they often talk about not hitting the object you want to hit, but aim behind it. And that way, that energy goes through the object as best as it can. So, if I was hitting my hand here, I would actually aim for the hand behind it, imaginary hand behind it. Johnny Wilson talks about visualization similarly. When he talks about his kicking, he manages something through the post, the other side, and he tries to kick, I think it was a Coca-Cola bucket or something like that in his head. He wants to kick it into the Coca-Cola bucket, through the target. Not quite the same, but similar. Okay, so the most important part when we hit it is to go through it, and that's really important with the ball. We're almost imagining we're not hitting the ball, but something slightly the other side of the ball, even though that doesn't always help with timing. We really want to make sure our energy goes through the ball. So let that stick fall and add the energy through the ball, sweeping the floor. Keep doing it. Here, twist, shoulders, extend and through. Shoulders, extend and through the ball. Do it lots of times. Checking, go back to your mirror and check. Shoulders, extension, and look in the mirror. Okay? Check you're in a straight line. Keep doing, keep going through the ball. Again, through the ball. There, okay? I'm repeating myself, but that's because I really wanted you to repeat everything a lot. I can't stress that enough. Repetition, repetition. The next thing I wanted to talk about, thankfully, is our foot positioning. It's really important we're balanced. Often you see people stretching out here, their foot points out and they stretch out here. Well, you can see that encourages your foot to touch the horse, which is giving a false signal. That's not what we want. We want to give as many consistent signals as we can. And secondly, it adds an obstruction if we do want to access for any reason. If the ball doesn't go quite where we want, it doesn't allow us to access this space in here as easily as possible. Thirdly, did I mention being balanced? Was that my point one? That's good. Okay. Thirdly, not something I realised. If you're, say I was to squat, if I'm squatting with my foot like that, here, actually activates a lot of... Oh. You good?
Still no. Now.
You hold.
Yeah.
Lazy holder. Okay? If my foot goes like that, outwards, you see, it obstructs as we were hitting there, and we're not as balanced, and it gives a full signal to the horse. But more than that, it actually encourages our lower back here to be involved in the movement, which is not what we really want ideally. It's what often find polo players get a lot of lower back pain. We ideally want our feet, not ideally, we want our feet parallel, maybe with the toes pointed slightly in. Now, when we squat, if we were to squat like this, we're using these muscles here, our centre muscles, our core muscles, which is more ideal. It's going to make us balance and it's going to put the right strength into the ball. We also now have much more access to this area here. So, I have a yoga ball here, or an exercise ball. If you don't worry. And I was just going to play the shots like this, here, just so I was aware of where my weight is. We want our weight to be as centre as possible so the horse is balanced. And I'll do the same exercise again, shoulder extension, hit through. Other things you can do on this exercise ball, just to be wary of where your weight is maybe kneel on it, which is quite safe. We don't want any extra hospital trips, but if you kneel on it here, it will help encourage those right muscles to build up strength and get a feel for where your weight is. If you hit the ball whilst on the ball, you can feel that if your weight falls over too much. Obviously we can't step into that foot with it nice and straight, not turned out. We step into that foot, but we don't want to fall over there, because then the horse is going to be unbalanced, and again we want the horse, like us, to be as balanced as possible. So you can try like this, shoulders extension and through, okay? Letting the stick go. Another good exercise to do on these balls, if you've got one, is try and write your name with your knees. It's quite fun. Forgot how to spell my name. Okay, so there's one exercise for us on the ball, just being wary of our weight there. And we put it all together. Here, I've just put this ball again here, so I'm wary of my movement. Ideally, we want our weight to be even through both feet as best we can, even though we're stepping into slightly this foot. We want to counteract that to keep our balance, to push slightly into the left foot, to try and keep our weight as central as possible. Shoulders extension, really let the stick go, and through the ball. Maybe sweeping the floor a little bit more. We want our stick head to make as much contact with the floor, but let it go. Let it go. Don't bring that head up too early. We see that a lot. People hitting, bringing their head up there. Keep your head down, count 1 second and through. And I think that'll do it for today. So we've got the yoga ball, we've got our knees on there, we've got our grip, which we're going to use around the house. We've got our mirror exercise. I think there's plenty to crack on with. Shoulders extension, look up in the mirror. Are we in a dead straight line? Remember, we want that straight plane. Straight plane. It's not like other sports where we go circularly. Straight plane coming through. Yeah, I talked about that left shoulder being slightly lower, but we'll talk about all those other aspects a bit more in other videos and hopefully build up a bit more consistency from what I'm saying. Cheers!